Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are going to be discussing the culture and customs of Mexico and some background.
Alrighty, so the history and background of Mexico. Mexico is a part of the North American continent located south of the United States. Mexico declared their independence from Spain on September 16th, 1810. The national language of Mexico is Spanish. Population growing over 126 million people. Mexico is a fascinating place with very rich culture.
So some characteristics of Mexico and Mexican families. So like we just talked about, a majority of the population speaks Spanish. And in the household, it's typically the man or grandfather that is the head of the household, except for families that are divorced, where the woman is usually the head of the household. And typically in indigenous Mexican households, it's common to have two or more nuclear families in one house. So mom, dad, kids, mom, dad, kids. So um, a lot of people in one house. And each person has a role within the household, and this is how they're able to maintain organization. And these roles are typically passed down, like from father to son or mother to daughter, or even uncles and grandfathers, aunts and grandmothers as well.
So some of the customs, traditions, and rituals that take place in Mexico. So sport-wise, the most popular sport in Mexico is football. Obviously, for us, it's known as soccer. Um, it is highly followed by the people who live there and also played all the time. Mexican families are typically very religious, with Catholicism being the most prevalent religion. There's about 88% of the people in Mexico are Catholic. So Catholic traditions have replaced native traditions over time, and polygamy, is very frowned upon. Um, Another tradition in the Mexican culture is a quinceañera. So when a girl turns 15 years of age, they have a big celebration. So this is seen as the girl turning from a girl into a young woman. Usually, when they have a quinceañera, it is a large gathering with a lot of friends and family, just in place to celebrate the girl becoming a woman.
So some customs and traditions. These are some big things that go on in Mexican culture. So a big one is Dia de los Muertos, and this is brought in and accepted by the Catholic Church. This is the day that they celebrate the family members that have passed away, and it's a big gathering, usually after our Halloween. It's November 1st and 2nd, and the whole family will get together to remember their loved ones who have passed away. And there's some festivals and a lot of celebration that goes along with it. Um, Another thing, a lot of people in Mexican culture are named after different Catholic saints, and that's very similar to towns and different cities in Mexico. And so, whenever that saint's anniversary comes along, that person also receives some sort of celebration. They'll receive some gifts or kind words from their family members and stuff like that.
So getting into holidays, the first holiday that we chose to explain is Dia de la Independencia. So this is basically their Independence Day. Mexico celebrates their independence from Spain on September 16th every year. It is basically just like the 4th of July for us. So the ceremony takes place. The Mexican president will ring the bell at the top of the National Palace and shout "Long live Mexico." Well, he'll shout "Viva la Mexico," which translates to "Long live Mexico" in our language. And then they'll have a big fireworks display. It's basically just like our Independence Day. Everybody gets together and eats food and celebrates the country.
So another holiday, Dia de Reyes, which is Three Kings Day. So this is celebrated January 5th, and this is celebrated across a lot of Spanish-speaking Catholic countries. And this is very similar to the Western Christmas, where children receive gifts, and this is celebrated because um, it is a tradition that celebrates the three kings who brought gifts to Jesus when he was born. So the children will receive gifts from their parents, who they believe is being brought by the kings. And it's a big tradition to have rosca de reyes, which is like a sweet bread with dried fruit in and on top of it. And it's a tradition that on the inside of the bread, there'll be a little plastic, little Jesus figure. And whoever receives that in their piece of bread, it is custom for them to then host the meal on February 2nd.
We touched on this a little bit earlier. Dia de los Muertos. This is a holiday. It's the day after our Halloween, so it's basically just a celebration of people who have passed on to the afterlife. It's not a day of mourning; it's more of a day to celebrate their lives. So, like we said, people will dress up and they'll get together as a family, and sometimes they'll go to their dead family members' graves and clean them off. So, some facts and statistical information. Excuse me. So, the total population of Mexico is 130,576,036 people. The male population is 64,395,910, and then the female population is 66,180 and 180,126 people. So the female population is about, I think it's 0.5% more. So the male population is about 49.5, 49.4%. Um, Relating this to education, Mexico was ranked 46 out of 50 countries in the ranking of national higher education systems. Um, so obviously, this is a stat that we would hope to bring up a little bit in the future.
So education within Mexican households. So I think just like every other country, education is valued. However, in Mexico, it is within the family. It is more emphasis is placed on providing for the family. So um, it is usually more common for people to start working within their family at a younger age, which can take away from education. And this is just seen as a way to provide for the family. So hardworking individuals usually come out of these families rather than having an emphasis placed on education. So physical activity implications. Students at young ages are known to go outside for hours. Kids will play games like soccer, hide and seek, hopscotch, and many other games similar to children, I think, all over the world and even here in the United States. And having these children participate in activities at young ages is good to teach them communication skills, social skills, and different values such as teamwork. And as a physical educator, we have to be aware of students' home life because students may be skipping school to work, to provide for their families, raise some money, and help out around the house. And we must understand that these issues they're facing and be able to educate them as much as possible with the time that we are able to be with these students.
So a couple resources that we found would be valuable to you guys or your students if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about this topic. So we have two websites and two books. If you go to these websites, the first one, it's a very valuable source when researching the history and facts about Mexico. The site is known basically like as an encyclopedia for all types of common knowledge. So this is where you could find just basic information about Mexico. Our next one, this ebook provides a strong resource for the traditions and the customs and stuff like that that go on in Mexico. So this is where you could find stuff on some of their holidays and some of the traditions that we talked about previously in the PowerPoint. This next website, this is very similar to the first one. However, this one kind of gives it from the point of view like for a kid. So if you had a student or a child that was looking into researching this topic, you give them this website. This will give them just again basic facts about Mexico and what goes on there. And then the last one, we have another book that just goes into the geographic information as well as some of the political aspects of it. So
Um,
here we have some of our references. We want to thank you guys for giving us the time. Again, my name is Billy Gant and my partner.
I'm Zach Gadwill.
Yeah. So thank you guys, and we hope you learned something today, and we hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.